What's up guys, llamapen here, and today I'm back with another Four Nations Face-Off custom NHL build. To celebrate the tournament, as you guys know, I've decided to build one forward and one defenseman from each team. I've completed Team Canada and Team Finland, so be sure to check those builds out. Today though, we move on to Team Sweden and star forward from the Toronto Maple Leafs, William Nylander. Nylander is one part of the three-headed monster of himself, Matthews, and Marner, and at times has looked like the best player on the team. As he approaches his third consecutive season with at least 40 goals, it's easy to see why he made Team Sweden, and really, if you look up and down their loaded roster, there's a real argument to be made that he's the best player on this team. He has all the tools you'd expect to see from a play-driving forward. He skates with the best of them, he has great vision, and possesses excellent stick handling skills as well as an elite shot. He even plays a solid two-way game, reading plays with a strong hockey IQ and disrupting plays with his cat-like hand-eye coordination. I struggled to decide where to start with a Nylander build because honestly there's so many directions you could go. First of all, he's a pretty average size. At 6 foot, 202 pounds, he fits the parameters of basically any build. He's also got a variety of skills, so you could easily justify playmaker, sniper, two-way forward. Even dangler wouldn't be that weird. I ended up going with the sniper build though, because he has such a nasty shot. Not only does he score a lot of goals, but he's always had a pretty high shooting percentage as well. The biggest issue is going to be that defensive play and possibly strength on the puck, but at the very least, I'll be able to skate and shoot at a very high level. I went ahead with Make It Snappy as the gold trait here. Nylander is one of the best in the league at zooming into the zone and cutting across for that against the grain wrister. Here's where I kind of made a leap, and you might be skeptical, but the amount of times that I've seen Willie stutter step and then dip that shoulder and drive the net one-on-one, clearly to me it's one of his go-to moves, and he is so good with it. For that reason, I went with the big rig trait. Second, I went with the magnetic trait. Willie always seems to be able to collect pucks so smoothly, no matter how fast he's moving or which way he's facing, so magnetic seemed like a fitting trait to me. Once again, there's a bunch of other ways I could have gone here. His build in the game really appears to be focused on his skating, shooting, and puck handling. I definitely think I could have gone with a couple of these traits here, but I stuck with what I felt best reflected Nylander's playstyle. I then used the boosts on deking and passing, as those are somewhat average stats for the sniper build. I did have to take some points out of the shooting to really make the skating shine, with him being over 200 pounds, but luckily with the sniper build you start with really high shooting stats, and he still ends up with no less than 85 for every shooting stat. I'm hoping also that that gold Make It Snappy trait is going to make up for this as well. The most glaring flaw here is no doubt the defensive stats, so defensive awareness is all the way down at 73, stick checking is only 77, and shot blocking is 75. The body checking is also only at 77. These are all really low numbers, and I think Nylander is, like I said, a really impactful player without the puck. Unfortunately, I just don't think that's going to be the case with this build. You can't be good at everything though, and this build is good at basically every other skill you could attribute to Nylander. Full disclosure, of all the builds in this series, this one was my favorite. He's over 200 pounds like I said, but he skates like he's 30 pounds lighter. He has breakaway speed and the agility to shake defenders and stop on a dime and change directions to backcheck or counterattack. I didn't really put any traits into the deking and instead just relied solely on the rating being high at 88, and that definitely seemed to do the trick. I put this build to the full test, and while it could be even better with a trait like ankle breaker or something like that, to pair with that speed, the sky still seems to be the limit. Finally, the shot is maybe the best part about this build. Looking back, I realized the Line A build had better shooting stats and traits, but I seem to score way more easily with this build. This is likely just because it's so much easier with your skating to get to those good scoring areas, and you can create your own chances. You can also overcommit at times and take more risks for offense because it's so easy to get back on defense. And as no surprise to anyone, the defense is lacking. Intercepting pucks is never promised, and while that skating definitely helps in terms of staying in the play and getting back on the back check, it's not uncommon to get back in position and have your poke check or body check fail you. You can definitely be a pest with your speed and infinitely stay in the play, but your best defensive tool after that is your poke check, and it's pretty mediocre. That magnetic trait definitely helps in those situations where there's a loose puck and you only have time for a split-second quick pass up the ice. I don't really use magnetic that much, but I found that to be really helpful. Lastly, I'm loving the big rig trait on this build. It makes it different from every other sniper build I've ever played with. It doesn't come into play super often, and like I said, there are probably some more practical traits you could swap in here, but a couple times a game this trait bailed me out of getting bumped off the puck in the zone or just straight up leveled, and it gives this build an almost power forward element at times. Now I do say element because outside of the situations where big rig is triggered, this build can find itself on the ice really often. The balance on this build is solid at 85, the strength is okay at 83, but at the end of the day, there's likely to be bigger guys out there, and they're going to be running truculence, and at those times where your skating or dangles can't get you out of trouble and you need to take a hit to make a play, you're going to go down hard, and with only 80 durability, you're going to get injured often too. Still though, this is your ideal scoring winger build. You could play this one at center too, but the face-off and defensive ratings are going to hold you back here, I would say. But overall, the skating and shooting exceeded my expectations, and I had a blast right off the jump playing with this build. It seemed like for a stretch that every shot I took was going in, and it really is an offensive dynamo just like Willy himself. So anyway guys, that is my William Nylander build. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I know it's kind of controversial with the big rig trait, but I'm sure you Leaf fans will let me know the true Nylander build down in the comments. Next up, we're going to be building a defenseman from Team Sweden. Who will it be? Stay tuned to find out. I hope you guys like this video. Go USA, and I'll see you in the next one.